lovely people. Welcome back again to another lovely episode of the Record Podcast. I know Mezoyo part I always say with my colleague Mariah, but today I have other fantamagorgeous, fantabulous colleagues with me that you'll be getting to know shortly. But as usual, I am your girl, your Shure of Kiambu, Lisa Miriam. Today I have amazing guests with me. One has been my long time friend. Yani mtu alinitoa Kiambu akanileta jiji kuu la Nairobi. Akanifunza how to hustle, how to get the dollars, the coins, the euro zote. I literally owe my career life to this amazing friend of mine. And another one is a baddie. I knew her from TikTok. She is amazing. Huyu dem ameiva kiakili pia sura, like she's everything. She's the full package, and she'll be teaching us a lot today around freedom of expression. What are your civil rights? Civic education. How many of you even know how the Constitution articles ziko hapo ndani? So we are gonna be talking about that today, and they will all be introducing themselves. Drum rolls. Let us start with ladies first, and welcome our buddy of the baddest, Rose.
Hi, my name is Rose Tunguru, but most of you probably know me as Rose Njeri. I recently got attention because of being illegally arrested back in May, June. And I'm happy to be here to discuss the Constitution, to discuss our rights, and inform people on basically whether the Katiba is, serving us the way it should. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Rose. Karibu to Off the Record podcast, where we talk about conversations that are supposed to be hush. So tunazitoa huko nyuma ya rekodi na tunazileta mbele. Welcome so much.
Thank you.
My friend, my bestie.
Hi,
my
everybody.
ATM.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name Alvin Mongi. I am a human rights defender. I speak about human rights work, and of course, Leo. We're here to just break down the freedom of the expression within this country, and then to just see how specific people, unfortunately, have been shot, and also the impact of all this work and process. So I'm happy to be here, of course.
Thank you, Alvin. Karibu sana. So, guys, I know you have heard that a few days ago we celebrated Katiba Day. Katiba Day basically ni ile siku ambayo sisi wa Kenya we celebrate our constitution. For the longest time we always say our new constitution 2010, but 2010 is like forever, 15 years ago. But we commemorate that specific day because we want to be able to look at the gains, the progress that has been made since the Constitution was promulgated, and also to critique in a good way areas where we feel need strengthening. Tunahitaji kukaza mkanda because to date there are people who don't even know even one article of the Constitution. There are people who don't even know what the Bill of Rights is. Now wanatembea Kenya. And a lot of money was invested for people to be able to know our Constitution. So it's a gap, but today is one of those platforms where we won't teach them the entire Constitution, but we're going to be discussing some of our experiences in regards to the Constitution of Kenya 2010. So my first question to you, my lovely guests, is since the 15 years, what is that one thing that you celebrate about the Kenyan Constitution? And I'm going to start with you, Rose.
Term limits. Because we at least we know we are only going to suffer for so long.
All my enemies are suffering.
Yeah, so that's my favorite part about it, because can you imagine if we didn't have the hope that like maybe in 2027 we can change things, if we didn't have that hope, which the Constitution has given us. So yeah, that's what I celebrate about it.
Yeah, that's a really nice way of looking at it. Because I know so many people kwa ground wako a bit anxious. In miaka tano ikisha, what will happen?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I really like the way you phrased it.
Yeah.
There's hope.
Yeah.
There's hope for something else. But we
Yeah.
also know the people the system, that we are up against, has tricks that we will do our best to, constitutionally challenge. But yeah, there's hope that, things are going to change.
Awesome. How about you, Alvin? What's that one thing you celebrate in regards to our constitution?
I think for me the two things actually, for me is the fact that we have had a new, the constitution, because if you think about states within, like the within the region, like Uganda and in Tanzania, they are not yet there, right? So the fact that actually we do have new ways which we need to actually do things, we think, and such kind of things. And then of course the greatest thing which I think we have seen within the last 2 years is all the freedoms which actually we do have here in Kenya, from the freedom of speech, from the freedom of where you can actually go to choose and live, and pray and worship. So the fact that we have all of these key things as a specific right for any Kenyan, no matter your age, your sex, where you're from, and all that. Yeah, those are great things for us to actually speak about. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, I agree with the both of you. For me, the one I celebrate the most is the freedom to accessing information and sharing information, because atungekuwa na hii podcast kama atungekuwa na hiyo freedom wase. So
speaking about Gava,
yes, yes, and the fact that our constitution allows us to hold the government accountable, to hold different actors within the government space and public sector accountable, to even hold ourselves accountable. That's one of the rights that I genuinely celebrate. And the fact that all other policies in Kenya, no matter the docket, common education, health, sports, gender, no matter the docket, all must be guided by the constitution. It's the sole policy, for lack of a better word, and it's very flexible, it's very adaptable, and everyone always looks at it when they go to regional meetings. Watu wanasemanga Wakenya mko mbele.
Hiyo katiba yenyu.
Katiba yenyu ni very progressive. So I don't think there's a need to rush, amending it, because tumekuwa tukisikia rumors kwa ground, unaona. But the thing is, how do we ensure it's serving us and working for all Kenyans? And in reference to serving us and making sure it works for us, what is that one thing that you think we can do better when it comes to implementing our constitution?
Definitely observing, like literally following the constitution, which we find that most people in power tend to ignore, and then tend to also not follow the judiciary's decisions, that sort of thing. So if they follow, you all know my story. I got arrested because I made a platform where we could do public participation. If they were following the constitution, that whole ordeal should never have happened. So definitely just sticking to what's in there, and then they always try to edit it. They always pass funny bills. There's all these agricultural bills, for instance, and then sometimes you feel bombarded because they're doing so many little bills that eventually end up, what's the word I'm looking for? Making the constitution not what it is.
Yes.
So if they followed it, and if they want to change things, actually do the public participation as described, as prescribed in the constitution, and don't actually attack people who are doing what is in the constitution. So if I insult you, maybe you have grounds, but if I'm actually doing, you say we are passing a bill, please participate. So I am participating, or I'm helping more people to participate, and then you arrest me, then you are abusing the constitution. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Which actually means, you see how we are here speaking about, like great things. And then, unfortunately, we have specific people who will feel like you should not be doing that, you should not actually be creating your space or the platform for most of us to, speak, we engage and such kind of things. And then also, like if you think about it, we need to see how we actually break it down. Because, you'll see that actually most of the laws which we have in Kenya, they are so hard. So if you do not try to, break down a law, or a process, right, and such kind of things, and then where you hope that you will actually receive, views, right? Which then means if we actually do have specific people who are there to help, with the process, right, and such kind of things, and then the only key thing which you want to do is to do what is to stop them, because if you think about it, is your work is actually, more, like easier, right? Because your platform will actually speak about your, your bill, your law, your process, and such kind of things. And then the most probably what's the word to use? The most crazy things is, unfortunately, we are super held with Kizungu, right? So you'll find that, unfortunately, most of the laws and the processes we have here in Kenya, they are, unfortunately, in what? In English, right? So which means that specific people are actually still, within us, homes and such kind of, places and groups may not be within a space to actually know, okay, so he ni 1+1. Okay, and such things.
I really like what you said, because now I'm thinking in my head, in schools, the way we used to have social studies, what if one key topic would be the Constitution of Kenya? No, watoto from the moment wako shuleni, you can not necessarily recite it, but key points and key things within the Constitution that affect you, and how you can engage, how you can, navigate your life, making sure that you're holding everyone in Kenya basically accountable through the Constitution. Your voice matters when it comes to processes and the systems. But most importantly, ukiwahi jipata kwa ngori, unaweza tetea haki zako without having to spend tons and tons of resources hiring a lawyer. Na siku hizi hata our lawyers wa pro bono ni few. Unaona economy, unfortunately, the economy is not friendly enough for you to be doing pro bono cases all the time. And it's understandable. Unaona, but kama sisi wenyewe tungekuwa tunajua haki zetu na tunajua jinsi tutakavyojitetea, and even the police service knows that hii ni haki ya huyu based on the Constitution, and they will not harass you ukienda kujitetea. I think that's, one of the gaps that maybe we can champion. For me, I'd be very willing to sit down with the Ministry of Education and watoto lazima waelewe.
We have a bit of
in the So first of all, two things.
Yeah.
Unaongea about social studies. When I was in school last, we did GHC.
Your age is showing.
My age is showing. And second, I have kids who are in CBC,
Yeah.
and they do touch on it, but they touch on things like children's rights. It's what I can remember off my head. Oh, there's something else, but they do touch on it just a bit, just a smidge. And with the children's now, I don't know if I'm still going to be in topic if it's not till but hapo kwa children's rights, the constitution protects kids from violence,
Exactly.
from being beaten,
Yes.
from being harassed by teachers.
Exactly.
But every day in the news, you'll always hear some extreme cases. Some child died because of being beaten, or some child. You remember recently there was a story of a kid who was beaten so badly until he died.
Yeah.
Then they hung him, put a noose on his neck, and hung him to stage that he killed himself. That sort of thing. But before that teacher gets to that point where he's beating a child to that point of death,
Exactly.
wanakuanga wameanza na hizi zenye unasikianga kila saa, ati spare the rod, spoil the child, lazima nimchape kidogo, that sort of thing. But it's not. And in fact, even the TSC can revoke your TSC number if you just kuchapana tu. And it's a protected right, first of all, unaona, kwa constitution. Exactly. But teachers act like they don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe there's a problem. There's a big problem that every day you'll hear a big story about someone being beaten to hospitalization, left with scars, that sort of thing. So in a way, as much as there's a lack of awareness of things, there's also people who know, but also are like mtafanya. And that also like transcends, inaanza hapo kwa mashule. Ukienda pale kwa nurse, kwa public hospitals, they treat you rudely. They don't offer you that dignity of care. And then right to the top, where the leaders now wanaambiwa, don't make this panel of etc. It is unconstitutional, but they just go ahead and do it. So it speaks to something in us as Kenyans also, that tuko aware, but kuna ile utadu. But secondly, there's also kuna wenye hawako aware, but they rely on people who they expect to be aware.
Exactly.
So they don't really follow up on it. So nyinyi mnabaki hapo mkipiga makelele mko kidogo. Wengine wanashindwa, why are you making this noise when, let's say, this is a teacher and I respect them, na wamesoma na amefanya hiyo kitu, so it must be right, so why are you making noise? So there's also that as a problem.
And that sounds to me like a systemic issue.
Yes.
Most of the times when we're talking about systems na mambo ya accountability, we forget that charity begins at home. Ukweli.
Exactly.
Because let me tell you, if a problem cannot be managed within the home setup or the household setup, it will become a community problem.
Yes.
No. Once it becomes a community problem, it's not managed, it now becomes a societal problem. Like just what you're saying. If there's abuse happening at home and no one thinks it's wrong, if this child is abused in school, they'll still not think it's wrong. Or they'll be like, keep quiet. Oh, Malima Neshimika, why would you say that about this teacher? And I've heard of such stories, especially when it comes to defilement of children. Then huyo mtu, because apparently anaheshimika, ameachwa free, anaenda akiendeleza that bad tabia over. Now it becomes a societal problem where even at the judiciary level, we are not able to safeguard our kids because we have perpetrators all over. Yes.
Over. Yeah.
And I usually like your element here, being the right to, if you're arrested, unapewa bond and whatnot. But I feel like there are cases that honestly, especially if there's evidence backing. Okay, I know you need pana, you're not guilty until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Oh, you're innocent until
Until
proven
proven
guilty.
guilty.
But there are some cases that I feel the bond system inafanya like the issue inakuwa more amplified.
Exactly.
Anyway, I feel like tumeanza like hii mambo ya constitution is so deep, tumeanza kwenda left right, but anyway
But it's also like
Yeah.
testament that the constitution inatu affect
Exactly.
in every aspect, in every
Yeah.
facet of life.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And speaking of affecting Rose, maybe we can start with you, Alvin, then you, Rose. Do we have any incidences where we feel as though our rights have been violated against the constitution? Ama tulifanya kitu ya kujitetea na unfortunately it didn't work in our favor. Yet constitution ilikuwa inatu favor.
Yeah, I think that the recent time or part, has actually just been the last like 1 year, because if you think of the spaces and the voices of young people, like in Kenya, in terms of speaking about, by the way, this is what we want, we want, schools, like, door, right? And such kind of things. And then all of that, unfortunately, is seen as if, we are here to actually, because, probably fights and chaos. But then if you actually think about it critically, the only key thing which we want is what? Transparency.
Yeah.
And to ensure that all the key things which we have in terms of the resources are actually used and put, into good use. So, like, if you think about actually the freedom of the expression and how most of us, the young people and the youth in Kenya, who unfortunately have had to just be shut, right? We have lost, like young people. We have had probably young people who have had to stay in cells, 3 days for 1 week. Why? Because you just spoke up, you spoke out, right? And unfortunately, we have lost, more of them because you are you choose to actually speak about, like a process. You say, oh, by the way, we actually have a specific person who's doing a wrong thing, right? And if you think about it, we have freedom of the expression. And what we are trying to do is we ensure that actually the country is actually safe, and safe from who? From thieves, So if you think about how specifically us as the young people within the last, like 1 year, how our freedom of just speaking, and in being in spaces have actually been shut. We need to really find time and we think about this, because what this means is we will actually, be shut. We won't then speak about, these key things, because then we'll feel, when you speak, you will actually happen. Go or be put, in jail for 3 days, right? And such kind of things. And what that unfortunately will do is most of us, we will not speak. Why? Because of that fear of, by the way, nikiongea, this will happen. Yeah.
So just to add on to your things, as I was writing, basically what you're speaking to is the weaponization of certain clauses. Like now they are really big on using the terrorism clause to arrest people. And for terrorism, the bail is high, like, and it's not many people who have a lose 200k just
even that word
around,
like,
and the word, yes. Also, it also makes it so punguza value, because terrorism is a serious thing. And now you're telling me just for participating in a protest I'm a terrorist, So there's also the aspect of kuna terror that is actually happening right now as we speak. There's that stuff about the Jubaland forces invading our country, but our leadership is out here parading our old army artillery and stuff to us, just because we are asking for better. Meanwhile, they're not, as in where are they? Why are they not there? You know. So you're choosing, basically, you're weaponizing this law and you're choosing how to use it. And in the same vein, you're also choosing what to follow, so that when you're, for instance, if you're surveilling someone, as I was surveilled before my arrest, you're supposed to have a court order.
Actually, that's
And I was just reading something. There's a guy called James041 on Twitter, or I am Chege.
I know him. Yeah.
Just like a few minutes ago, he was tweeting about a DCI officer who was being interrogated in court today, and he was being asked how he was able to track someone, and he explained that he was doing triangulation using that person's Safaricom line, and it's online, it's on YouTube. So it's not my words. So, as in, and then the DCI was asked, "Did you have a court order for this?" No.
Said no.
So,
Are you kidding?
So you're tracking people, you're surveilling without following the proper channels for doing that. So again, it's choosing and picking, weaponizing and ignoring the important parts, which again wanatuharibia Katiba at 15. That's not what it stands for. Yeah.
And maybe just to add, I've also heard that nowadays they can track you using ile mitanamba yako ya token. Haya,
Yes, yeah.
Uko topo nyumbani, chill, relax. You see your token is lying. Iko 2 units. Ukimbie kununua token. Kidogo you hear someone at your door. Or someone calls you and they tell you, "Do you know, I know you live in apartment XYZ."
Because like me, they knew. I did not direct them. They picked me from somewhere and took me to my place. I did not give them directions.
So they had done that.
But I suspect, no, for me it wasn't the KPLC one, because my Safaricom number is linked to an older place I used to live. So if they went the KPLC route, they must have gone to the wrong place.
To that place first.
And secondly, they also surveil you using your smartphone. These smartphones have it listens to you. You will talk about socks and see adverts of socks.
By the way, it's true.
Yeah. So in those vulnerabilities of not only social media, but just your smartphone as it is, they can use that to track you, and they can know where you are. But for me, my smartphone started acting funny, and I did certain things. Like I started using VPNs. So they weren't able to track me with that. So they ended up having to use a kabambe. I didn't know. It was before. Like I was not even. To me, it was not even a thought that this could be law enforcement. So they used to call. Someone speaks, and you don't think about it again.
No, I shouldn't even pick
No, you can't.
I shouldn't pick new numbers.
Well, now you can't do that because, for instance, I run a business. I don't know who's going to call me.
Exactly.
I need the money. So utafanya nini? So I think the best way is just to separate, like kuna hii ya biashara, kuna hii yako.
But honestly, Zipia, hiyo ingine.
Yes, they
it's
can
easier for them
you.
to also like find you through that.
That's how they now found me, because now kabambe ndo ilikuwa na ya biashara.
Lakini kabambe I hear that it's actually safe.
It is safe in that they will not be able to hear what you're saying. They can't hack into your camera and see you. They can't. Kabambe uta save information. Like, you know how you have things in your notes app?
Email,
in
notes,
your email, you see.
Social
Kabambe
media.
is safe in that way. However, they can still triangulate.
Well, true. Yeah.
Which is how they were. Because when I call you, you answer, you're sending a signal. That signal is the one that they're able to say, okay, ako hapa. So that's how they surveil. And it's as much as Safaricom wako within their rights, because it's their service you're using, they're within their rights to share this info with such bodies.
Really?
They are.
Within their rights?
They are Safaricom, but
Come, we
within
don't know that as
no.
consumers of this service.
When you just say I accept, when you see the whole
those
terms and conditions,
agreements.
you just say I
Those
accept.
longer ones, right?
Yeah.
But
Safaricom ishaitumia kweli ukibuy
Okay,
SIM
okay,
card.
fine. Okay, buy SIM card. No, there's usually like a thing for I
are you people
accept.
Kenyans? No.
Ebu-
Okay.
Mimi nitanunua SIM card hivi karibuni double check, because I don't think ama it's just assumed
It's
that
one
if
of
you're a
those two things.
consumer,
No, it's one of those things when you're setting up your SIM card. You automatically, like, it's like you, Sawa, I want your SIM card, accept,
Yeah.
whatever. Okay. You don't really read through them, but they are within their rights because you're using their service to share your information under certain circumstances. However, the DCI or the NIS or these investigative bodies tend to abuse that right.
Exactly.
In that they don't follow the correct procedure.
Yeah.
Like kunafaa kuwa na court order.
Yes.
There should be
Yes.
for you to be able to track Njeri.
Yes.
You should have probable cause. Like she's going to I don't know, blow up this place. So we need to. But
We
now
need to get her.
those procedures are the ones that are not followed. But they're within their right.
Maybe
Excuse
just
the
a
story.
quick one, based on everything that we have spoken about. So if you were, for example, given political power, what would you do with it to empower communities for them to enjoy their rights and freedoms better, based on just kila kitu yenye tumesema? I think we can start with you, Alvin, and then we finish up with Rose.
Wow. Okay. So if I was given a political power that my community would probably see it fit, I think from the work that I've done so far would be a key thing is to have spaces to get views, because like also for myself, I have tried to create ways in terms of how people need to share views, like on some of these key things and bills, and processes. So the fact that our space is actually important, and a space which is actually safe for you to know that you can actually come, and speak about, a specific thing, and whatever you will say or speak, right, and such kind of things will actually be safe, because we need to try and ensure that we actually stop to shut specific people, for what they choose to actually say, and such kind of things. Yes, you will not probably want to say yes to the place, or even the view, and also the platform. But the fact that the space and the platform is actually, like a good thing for you and for me, then that's very that's something for everyone to at least try and think about. So I hope that from this whole time is that one of the key things that at least we try and pick is that you need to be within a space to speak about, like anything that you want to speak about and share, right? And that we should not use, like a system or even the platform or even in itself the courts to shut, like people down, because what you actually do is you will shut, this person down. This person will go home, may probably not even speak about this process, again. So
Thank you so much, Alvin. How about you, Rose?
For me, first of all, based on my experience, I would want more accountability in terms of how the finances are used, because my whole thing was because of the finance bill. But there's also the other side of the finance bill, which is the expenditure.
Yes.
How are they spending this? How this is how they're planning, but how are they actually spending this money? And then these are the allowances in the constitution for how to borrow, where to borrow. So where are they actually borrowing, and where is that money going? So if I had political power, which I'm not interested in, by the way, but if I had political power, I would want to follow that money make sure that Kenya's financial resources that are being pilfered are actually returned to our pockets. Because this money that is being used to buy expensive cars and shoes and lifestyles,
innovations,
can be used in, like, literally is meant for, not can be used, but is meant for hospitals, for schools, for roads,
for help.
security, even the police themselves who are harassing you, the DCI themselves, they also need the funding from the government to do their work. Like right now, Nairobi is
That should be a podcast by itself.
Nairobi is a mess, security wise. So this money that is being stolen, and then you're stealing, and then some guy will just come and like pickpocket your 250k phone, or your laptop. So what's the point? Or okay, sawa, you've bought a, I don't know, McLaren, I don't know cars, but you've bought those nice big cars that are usually really low, and then the roads are not repaired.
But then they are not even
exactly.
So these things, this money that you're using for your personal selfish reasons should be returned to the public side to actually do public good, because that's these taxes that we pay are supposed to go here. And then there's another thing called odious debt, which is where these people in power borrow money like Eurobond or whatever, and instead of it going to like the government's account, inaenda kwa personal account mahali. Then now you use your money the way you want, na imeboroiwa in our name, but ikifika time ya kulipa hizi taxes nalipa, na vile ni kubaya zinaenda kulipia hiyo loan. Na wewe hautawahi kubodhaiwa. Like you should be able to, if I had political power, we should be able to trace this money, bring it back to our coffers, public coffers, and use it for public good. It would change so much. It would improve the economy so much. Then this odious debt tupatie wale wenye wamezikula wazilipe. Sisi hatuko na nyinyi. Tulikula na nyinyi? Hapana.
We have not even actually seen the contracts that the Gava has signed with these people.
And when you took that money, there's something called the parliamentary I forgot. I don't have my notebook, but there's a bill basically that guides on how to borrow. You didn't follow it, so you borrowed for your own use. So we lipa. See, tuko na zetu well.
Pitisha hata ceiling, for borrowing.
Exactly. And for real, because the point of the finance bill is to raise money. But now they are raising this money because we are in debt. And then 70% of whatever they raise goes to paying debt. And then now 30% imebakishiwa wezi, budgeted corruption, na imebakishiwa sasa hosi, shule, sha, nini. Mtakula nini na hawa watu ni? It's the other side of the finance bill that we don't focus on and that we should. Alafu hizi ma CDF, hizi ma bills za, zinaitwaje za education, ati if you are poor apply kwa MP ama kwa sijui nani, those bursaries, that's the word I was looking for. Those bursaries, that money ati gava inapatia MP wako maybe I don't know how much, a certain amount, then out of his goodness and willingness ndo atakupatia,
And I hear it's usually such a chaotic process.
It is.
And you can find that unafuatilia bursary, then you only end up being given 3K or 5K. So you're left kwanza uko mashinani, like if you hear bursary stories za mashinani, you're like,
yes, they queue for like the whole day. Then you're given 3K, and your school fees, your child's school fees is 70K. So umenisaidia na nini? But this money that you are stealing or that you're hoarding, ingeenda mali inafaa. Hata school fees ingekuwa that high. Education in fact should be free.
Supposed to be free.
If you do the maths for hizo mahesabu, hizo mabasari, hizo ma CDF,
It should cater for all
yes.
students
the
to get
presidents,
quality.
whatever.
And you know they're trying to pass that bill where they're legalizing that NGCDF because it's not even legal in the first place. It's outside of the constitution. So they are passing that whole bill. It's a whole thing going on.
But you see, the craziest thing with that is, unfortunately for the MPs who we have in Kenya, without money, then you're nothing.
We
right?
should
Which
make
is actually
it
wrong, right?
Yes,
Because you're there to actually make laws,
Serve the people.
Yeah. So you are not supposed to actually make laws and still have, the money as well.
I
like
also
it's just so
blame.
shitty.
I also blame the citizens, like in them
Well,
wananchi,
yeah.
because that mentality that for you to lead you must have money, or if an MP is attending a burial
lazima
or
atoe.
a
Guest of
wedding,
honor.
yes, lazima atoe a certain it also puts pressure for them to be corrupt, because now lazima wakwange na float 24/7. There's no way utasalimia mheshimiwa akose kukuachia something,
Si ati kwa mshahara
asipokuachia hiyo
yake.
something.
But that's what you're saying.
Unfortunately, because of the culture we've created as citizens, hiyo mshahara haiwatoshi. Exact, haiwatoshi because Alvin atakuja kwa boma yenu, lazima ache kitu kwa mwingine. Basically every
How much are
single
you
day.
paying? How much are you paying?
But you
And
see,
you have to live
I'm
in
saying
this
I
Nairobi.
also blame us citizens for creating that culture,
So
propagating that culture. It forces some of them to be corrupt.
I think we should make it so that political positions are just jobs.
A normal job, Cindy.
But you see, if the public goods are not working, if I have a mother who's sick and I don't have the money, I will go to that MP, as you're saying. But if the hospitals are working,
You
that
won't
SHA
go.
will pay for that.
Hey.
So I won't have
True.
to
You have to
come.
go and
So
line up the whole
it's a
day.
circle.
And you see, that's why most of them hata hawaishingi in their constituents.
Well, yeah. I agree.
Because kwao kuna
Utashinda
shindanga
tu.
kukibishwa. Mtoto.
Shule.
Chakula, nini.
Make the system better. We would
That's
come.
what we are saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We should
They
also
should.
hold ourselves accountable as citizens to make the system work.
How can it work when the person at the top is stealing? We are
Now-
saying the people we elect should be, first of all, in a job. Sio place ya kuenda kupilfa. You're not here to make money. You're here to work for the people. Yeah, hiyo mambo ya ati I'm returning the campaign money. Like, so as you're saying also, yes, mtu akikuja kuambia nataka kuwa president, tunamwambia so niachie kakitu. We should also get rid of that.
We're selling our vote.
'Cause
And
Well,
then we
yeah.
sell our future in the process of selling our vote.
Because na yeye akiingia anasema acha nirudishe ile
Exactly.
pesa. So it's a circle like this.
Anyway, my people, this conversation is so juicy. I feel like we need a part 2 of it. But just to quickly, I know I said quickly wind up, but this time let's wind up. Celebrating Katiba at 15, the experiences, the loopholes we've identified and shared in the recommendations, especially from Njeri that you've given. If our constitution say the way it is currently, and not the constitution like the kitabu or the laws or the policies that are written upon Dani, but like the implementation bit of it. So if you were to compare the implementation of the constitution 15 years down the line into an African meal, itakuwa chakula gani? Like your implementation process. Okay, guys, remember, see constitution. Our constitution is very good, okay? But the implementation of it 15 years down the line, ingekuwa ni chakula umeletewa paka meza. Unge order kama ni chakula gani? Would it be nyama choma, githeri, chapo dondo? Ni chakula gani? The implementation bit as it stands right now.
I'd say salmon.
Salmon.
Yes. I do not eat seafood. Exactly. It's out of reach. I miss kulangi seafood, but
okay,
now for purposes of this, it's out of reach for many people.
Yeah.
Si watu wengi wanaweza
Maybe
nunua.
that's true. It's fancy. It's not
It's
affordable.
exactly.
It's not accessible. Also, for
But
taste.
it's fancy. You're
Yeah.
like, wow, salmon, but I cannot afford it.
Yeah. So in short, Kenyans don't have the privilege to enjoy their constitutional rights.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's dope. Okay. Alvin. The implementation bit.
The implementation, if I was to pick a food that would resonate with it as is right now, that's I think I'd have to go with there's a traditional food that's called, I think, no, that's a mixture of, I think, waru and ugali.
Hiyo ni gani?
I think
Tomoko.
it's called gonjamato.
Gojamato, I'm calling other things.
Yes, gonjamato.
Oh, the rice is challenging.
And it's actually like a mix of ugali, which is so odd. Ugali
And waru.
and waru.
so much
You
starch,
cook it
you know.
and then you mix it, right? Why? Because I feel like we have received, and we all do know that actually we have one of the best constitutions in Africa, and even actually in the world, right? So, but if you think about the systems which unfortunately we have had in place, as well as the leaders, we have messed up, the food, right? So unfortunately it does not look good, So even the food,
like just
it
a
is not
mixture,
good, so it's just a mixed, a mixed piece of shit, so which then it's important for us to reflect on the need for implementation. There's no need for us to even start to have any form of discussions around, we need to amend what?
We're not
15
amending.
years, it's still, still young, right? So what are you thinking?
No, it's there. You said 15 years, it's still young. So I'm like, is it anyway? But yeah, it is still young.
Yeah,
Although I feel like we should have had more and better progress.
exactly.
For me, I would say a pizza. And here's why. Pizza is very overrated. Pizza, for me, I find pizza expensive for nothing. And then there's nothing fancy around the taste. Now, how shibangi pizza?
Really?
How shibangi?
All that wheat?
Unless you accompany it with a soda and you eat out of the 8 or 12 slices, depending on the size you eat almost half of it or the entire of it. So it looks beautiful. So our constitution is very beautiful.
Yeah.
But I feel like we have not been intentional in making sure what wanatosheka na your constitution and people even understand it.
Yeah.
So the beauty of a pizza when it comes to implementation, haitutoshelezi because we are not being intentional when it comes to implementation, and we are also not empowering citizens to demand for its implementation. So basically, hiyo pesa yote ilimwaga civic education at the time iliambulia patupo because there's no demand from the community level. And I keep saying that for me systems to work, lazima ianzie mashinani. And if people are not demanding for it, then no one will feel the need to implement it correctly and effectively. At our leaders, they won't feel it because there's no pressure coming from down.
Yeah.